Hello everyone. Recently a user requested me to add circle of fifths diagram into the app, and so this is a review of it, because I added modes as well, and this feature got bigger than I expected originally, and so I want to explain how it all works, especially for modes. You can find it here on the toolbar. If you don't see this icon, just scroll to it. This is not the lesson about circle of fifths, this is more of a feature review, but I will still explain what it is and how a circle of fifths works. You have three circles here. This is the major circle with major keys, minor circle with minor keys, and diminished circle with diminished chords. These are keys, but they are also chords, and they are also notes if you ignore the minor and diminished sign. The distance between C and G note is perfect fifth interval clockwise. From G to D is also perfect fifth interval, hence the name of the diagram. If you go counterclockwise from C to F, you get a perfect fourth interval. From G to C, also perfect fourth, counterclockwise. Because these notes are organized in this manner, you can quickly find the chords for major and minor keys, and also for modes, but about modes later. If you tap on C, you will see this crown, and within this crown you can see the chords of C major scale, diatonic chords. Here they are going to be displayed in the orderly manner, so this is the first chord, second chord, third chord, and so on, for A minor as well. If you ignore these minor and diminished signs, you will get notes. So A minor has A, B, C, D, E, F, G notes. If you see two options to select, like here B and C flat, the first time you tap on it, that's going to be B, second time it's going to be C flat. Additionally, you can display here some information within this crown. You can display intervals. These are the intervals of major scale, intervals of minor scale. You can display Roman numerals. These are used for chord progressions, and unlike intervals, they also tell you which chord that is. So uppercase is going to be major chords, lowercase minor chords, and lowercase plus this diminished sign are going to be diminished chords. If you have A minor, for example, and you see flats near these Roman numerals, these flats align with the intervals. So if intervals have flats here, here, and here, Roman numerals will have those flats at the same locations. You can also look at modes here. These are relative modes. All of these modes share the same chords and notes. And unlike intervals or Roman numerals, where you change the key and it changes where they are within the crown, modes are at the same locations, no matter where you select this crown. Lydian is always going to be one step counterclockwise relative to Ionian, relative to the center of the crown, no matter where you are. Another information that you can get out of it is the number of sharps and flats. So at the center here you have no sharps and flats on these notes, and you can see it here. If you go clockwise, you will get 1 sharp, 2 sharps, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you go counterclockwise, you will get flats. 1 flat, 2 flats, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In case when you have two options, you can get either 5 sharps or 7 flats, or 6 flats, 6 sharps, and 7 sharps, 5 flats. If you want to reset this selection, just tap on the crown. The crown remembers where it was the last time, so if you tap on the crown one more time, it will restore this. You can apply whatever is selected here onto the fretboard by this icon, and by coincidence it points to where this is going to be applied. If you tap on it, we are now in E major, it will select here A major, E major, and you see all the notes. If you select minor scale, it will apply minor here. You could notice that each circle has 15 options to choose from, even though if you go here on the root note picker, you can see here 21 options. 21 because we have 7 letters, and for each letter you can add either a sharp or a flat. You have 7 without any sharps and flats, 7 with sharps, and 7 with flats. 7 plus 7 plus 7, 21. There are still 12 notes, but some notes have several names, like this C sharp and D flat, or C and B sharp. If you select, for example, here C major scale, there are no double sharps and double flats here. But if I switch to B sharp, the app will tell me that B sharp major will result into some notes having double sharps. And it will suggest me to switch to C because C is the same note, this is an harmonic equivalent, and it is just simpler to use. You can still select B sharp just for education, but because of these double sharps, it is called a theoretical key, and it is theoretically possible, but nobody uses it because it results in these double sharps and double flats. And you always have another option, C, which is much cleaner here. Knowing this information, I want to explain what happens within the crown and what happens outside the crown. So outside the crown, you always see the options that you can choose from, which these options do not have double sharps and double flats. By the way, for every single mode, there are 7 modes. For every mode, you have 15 correct keys and 15 not correct keys, but they do not align, so they are not the same. For example, B sharp major is not valid for major, but if you select Locrian, for example, here, it will be valid because it doesn't have any double sharps and double flats. So there will always be 15 no matter which mode you select. So you can see here outside you have these 15 options that you can choose from outside of the crown. If I select here F sharp, now the crown, the top priority for the crown is to show you the correct chord names. In this case, the correct chord names align with the correct key names. So D sharp minor is the correct key and I can switch to it. The same as E flat minor here is the correct key, I can switch to it. The same as D flat, I can switch to D flat. But in case I select here C sharp, G sharp major is the correct chord for C sharp major. This is the correct chord, but this doesn't align with the correct root note for the major. So I cannot select G sharp major here. So whenever I tap on it, it will switch to A flat because A flat is the correct one. And you can see it here. So if I select, for example, G sharp major, it has this double sharp here. And it suggests me that A flat is better one because it doesn't have any double sharps. So the top priority is to show you the correct chords, but if they do not align, you will get the correct key as a secondary label. If they align, you will get the correct key here, so you get what you see if it aligns. As a secondary label, you get that secondary option that is also valid, so E flat minor is also valid. And finally, we got 2 modes. Whenever you have selected anything, you can tap on the center of the diagram and you will get this pop-up with relative and parallel modes that you can switch to. Whenever you switch to any relative modes, you can see here that crown doesn't move because all relative modes share all the same chords and notes, and so that's why the crown doesn't move. It just moves the root note or the root chord or the key to the... That's actually not the key because for modes you cannot use the word key. The word key can be used only for major and minor. So this is the root chord or tonic chord for the D Dorian. It just switches to the correct location here. F Lydian is always counterclockwise relative to the center of the crown. See here, D Lydian is always be on this side on the crown. If we switch parallel modes, let's select first C major. Let's select now C Lydian. You see the crown has moved to the right side because Lydian here is always on the left side of the crown. Actually not the left side but counterclockwise side, because if you go here down it will be inversed. If I switch to mixed Lydian, it will just move it here into the other direction because mixed Lydian is always here in this corner of the crown. If you start switching to the minor modes, like Dorian, this will be relative to this C because Dorian and Phrygian are minor modes. They start on the minor chord and of course the minor scale. If you switch to Locrian, that's going to be relative to this C. But Locrian has its own circle and you don't have to use this to switch to Locrian. You can just tap on the Locrian circle. Whenever you select any mode, it will turn that circle into that mode. So if you select Lydian, mixed Lydian, it will turn major circle into Lydian circle. And now whenever you tap on any of these options, it will switch to Lydian. And these options will be also for Lydian. For example, for major scale you have only E here, but for Lydian suddenly you have F flat as well, because F flat is valid for Lydian, but it's not valid for major. If you want to switch to major, it will tell you that for major it's not valid, so it will switch to E major. And it does. For minor modes, like Dorian for example, it will turn minor circle into the Dorian circle, and the same way, if you tap on any minor option, it will show you Dorian, and it will display options for Dorian here instead of the minor scale. It's very easy to reset it, so if I want to reset it, I just tap on major and then back to minor, and I get minor. Or if you want to reset it even quicker, you can just tap on this crown, and then you can tap on any minor to select minor, or major to select major. So no matter which mode you select here, no matter what you tap, you will not be able to select any theoretical key that has double sharps or double flats. Also, there are a couple of settings here that you can change. The first one is this one that can make the crown always at the top, and if you select it and you select any key, it will rotate this into place. This mimics that physical circle of fifths that you can buy with the plastic frame that you just rotate into the position to highlight some chords. That's why I added it. By default, it has this fixed crown, but you can disable it, and whenever you select something, first it will move the crown to that place and then rotate up, because the first option is on. One more option here is that you can apply current scale at open. So if you have here any mode out of these 7 selected, let's select mixed Lydian, so A flat mixed Lydian, and you open this circle of fifths, it will open this A flat mixed Lydian here as well. By default it is off, so if you want that functionality, you have to turn it on. If you have any scale that has double sharps and double flats, for example B sharp major, and you open this, it will select the simpler key, so it will select C major instead, because B sharp and C major, B sharp and C is the same note, and so it is simpler, it will select C. As I said, it will not allow you to select anything with double sharps and double flats. If you have any other scale, like let's say harmonic minor, and you open this pop-up with that option enabled, it will not change anything here, because harmonic minor is not one of the 7 modes of the major scale. It will apply here only if you have here selected any mode. This is a good tool to learn how circle of fifths works, and once you do, you can just print out some picture from the internet of circle of fifths, or you can buy circle of fifths with this plastic frame, and you can use it from the table. Especially if you use the free version of the app, because the free version of the app has 1 ad per day maximum, but that ad is going to be shown on the first launch of the app, and you will have to wait for 5 seconds to skip it. So it's much quicker if you use the diagram printed out. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. You can also message me using this report bug or request a feature. Both of these are going via email. So whenever you message me via email, please check it from time to time. I respond quickly, usually within the day. But a lot of people either don't get notification, or they get notification and miss it somehow. Some people respond in a couple of weeks, and I understand this because a lot of people do not use email on a daily basis, and so they are not used to talking via email. So just check it to see whether I responded. And that's it. Thank you for watching.